The Phoenix Police Department gives an update on the city council on the progress following the DOJ investigation. So the interim police chief, Michael Sullivan, gave the first update to the department's progress to the city council and to the public. In public meetings, it is now going to be, it looks as if it's happening. The public meetings between the city council and the Phoenix Police Department, which obviously we're all invited to, are expected to be held every few months over the next few years. Here's a quote. "We have ensured all special assignment unit officers are using body-worn cameras. In fact, there is a policy in place requiring all public-facing officers to use body-worn cameras." This is what Chief Sullivan shared with the council. "You asked us to launch a First Amendment facilitation and management policy to send out for public comment. We did that in late September. 30 days later, we had received 72 comments from the community. Staff has met to assess the comments, and the final draft of the policy will be completed by the end of March." There's also a question. There's a story here from KJAZ, and it is the Phoenix Police Department's treatment of Tyron McAlpin is now the subject of a lawsuit. He was deaf and had cerebral palsy. And so the question is, how are officers trained to deal with people with disabilities? I'm going to say a couple of things that may appear to be harsh, and I don't mean them to be. The Phoenix Police Department does an excellent job in a ton of areas. The Phoenix Police Department has always been, whether people want to recognize it or not, has been a self-assessing, self-correcting agency before Chief Sullivan got here. It is kicked into high gear because Chief Sullivan is known as a national expert when it comes to DOJ investigations and what's called consent decrees, which many cities have entered into, including Louisville, where he was, Baltimore, where he was. And so he is seen nationally as an expert in this. They have revamped their use of force policy, and it's not just a policy that's going to be sent out in an email to the different officers in precincts across the valley. It is hands-on training and the use of force training to make sure that every officer understands it because they've gone through training in it. The updates that are happening now, the other changes they've made in the city, the crime reduction plan, the other things this city has done is remarkable. When it comes to mental health calls, before Chief Sullivan got here, to back up my statement about being a self-assessing, self-correcting agency, the same Department of Justice that spent 3 years investigating Phoenix, a couple of years before that actually came to Phoenix to give the Phoenix Police Department an award. And the award was the work they've done in mental health calls and the training of squads of officers to deal specifically with mental health crisis and calls for service in the police department. So they're always working in that direction. I have seen some of the video that they're talking about with this subject who was deaf and apparently had CP or has CP. What's fascinating about this is the guy trying to get away, the guy starting a fight. And if you look, I just want, even if you're someone that is suspicious of the police, I want you to hear this. It's important. He was wearing earbuds. I'm not making a joke. I'm not trying to insult him with any issue he deals with his health. He was wearing earbuds. How was a police officer to try to ascertain whether or not this person had hearing loss when he had earbuds in when they made contact with him? I understand holding people accountable for their actions, but there are some times when things happen where we are over-aggressive and over-critical. The guy started to fight. The guy started to punch. There is no way in the split second that somebody pointed him out and said, that is the person that physically attacked me. The police did not just go to contact him out of the blue. They were called about a physical assault. They went and contacted who the witness said was the person that did it. He tried to avoid the police. The police had to round him up. He tried to change directions he didn't want to interact with the police. He was wearing earbuds, and he's the one that started the physical altercation. All of the other things were found out later. Hearing loss was found out later, but there was no way you could have even assumed that he wasn't hearing your commands. He was wearing earbuds. You can see the earbuds in the body cam video. He's the one that started with the physical aggression. There really isn't any way for the police to ascertain that he had CP or any other physical challenge. When police officers act in the wrong manner, they should be held accountable. It's either more training, it's either better training, it's either punishment through suspension or losing their jobs. I believe in all of that. I want an agency, a police department that is at the highest level of professionalism. Because I am so supportive of law enforcement. I don't want to defend cops that are out there just beating people down. But you have to also at times look at something and say, there's no way that those cops could have ascertained any of those things in the moments that led up to this. It's frustrating to me when those things happen, because there are times when cops deserve to be held accountable. And then there are times when people have to look at a situation and say, there's no way those cops could have known anything that they found out after the fact. And I'm going to leave it there for right now.
Thanks for watching the Mike Broomhead Show. Catch up on Amazing Arizonans, a KTAR News podcast, and click the button in the middle to subscribe.